be speaking for the class of 2011.
There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins. I remember hearing these words way back in 3rd grade when our library teacher was reading us the poem, Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Back then, I wasn't the deepest thinker, and the only reason I enjoyed poetry was because of its rhyme, so I never gave any real thought to any of it. However, when pondering what I was going to write for my commencement speech, this suddenly appeared in my brain. Some of you may ask, what does a poem by Shel Silverstein have to do with graduating 8th grade? Well, it may not have been this writer's intent, but for me, it explains a lot. When I was given a project or a test in any of my years at Memorial, I would work really hard on them, but I always longed for that moment of relief, with no more worry and no more stress when I would finally be done. However, middle school is the one project that I hope to be perpetual, with no end. But middle school is like a sidewalk. It makes us feel safe and secure for a while, but there's a place where it ends, and we are ready to move on. Before we look ahead, though, like this poem says, there's a place before the street begins, and that place is where we look back on all the memories and all that happened along the way. Of course, when we all think of 6th grade, the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is nature's classroom. I remember how psyched I was for that trip because it's a week away from home with all your friends. Who wouldn't be excited? It was all that we imagined it to be and more. However, many of us, including myself, felt something that we thought we never would: homesick. No matter how much we tried to deny it, we have to admit we missed our parents at one point during the trip. During the day, we were very busy, so we were too distracted by all the various activities we were engaged in. But when nighttime arrived, that was when it was the worst. Even though we were all exhausted, that constant reminder that this wasn't our own comfy bed, that this wasn't our room, and that we hadn't seen our mom or dad in a couple of days was enough to keep us wide awake. I wanted to stay there, but at the same time, I was anxiously awaiting the bus ride back to Middlebury. On the other hand, many of us just recently visited Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. It was a 3-day, 2-night trip, so it wasn't as long as nature's classroom, but it was still a different place, 6 hours away from Connecticut. However, I didn't feel that pit of loneliness in my stomach that I felt in nature's classroom. Even though I had the option to call my parents with the touch of a button, I rarely ever did. I am telling you this not to say that middle school made me grow farther apart from my family, but rather to show you how we grow from those timid little 6th graders who are dependent on their moms and dads to more responsible and independent 8th graders by the end of the year. This is why I say middle school is like a sidewalk. A sidewalk is a path on the side of the road that allows you to walk without worrying about the dangerous roadway traffic. Meanwhile, middle school is also a trail that guides us through maturity, where it's okay to slip once in a while because there's always someone there to help you. It's our first big step out of elementary school, where we feel comfortable to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow for 3 years until we are ready to transition on our own to high school. Even though none of us want it to, like Shel Silverstein says, there is a place where the sidewalk ends, and unfortunately, our time at Memorial has come to an end. But this is just another step we have to take. First it was onto the sidewalk, to middle school. Now we are ready to cross the street, to high school. And someday, we will be prepared to be a part of the actual traffic, in the real world. Many of our peers are going their separate ways to other high schools, but wherever we go, it is a huge change for all of us. So are you ready, 8th graders? Are you ready to cross the street together, even if it's not to the same place? If I had to answer that, I would say, as Mr. Gottfried says, It's been real, Memorial, but I most definitely think we are prepared to move on.